the most anticipated earnings release for the week of January 27th, 2025. Presented by Earningswhispers. Now things really pick up. There are more than 300 companies scheduled to report this week, which isn't a lot compared to what is coming over the next few weeks. But it is the biggest week by market cap. That is primarily because 4 of the Magnificent 7 are reporting, including 3 on Wednesday, which means total market cap is going to edge out next week, even though there will be more names. We are going to get going quickly this week because SoFi will report early in the morning, and it has averaged a 13% reaction to earnings over the past 6 quarters. It has rallied to new highs going into the news, but there are still a lot of people on the other side of this trade with sentiment remaining bearish. It is unusual to see this, but while SoFi is at a high while investors remain bearish, Nucor is just coming off its low while sentiment remains bullish. The company already pre-announced results, so there shouldn't be much of a surprise, so the commentary is going to tell us more than the numbers. Boeing reports Tuesday morning, and they also told us what they are going to report. It isn't pretty, but yet against all that bearish sentiment, the stock was essentially unched. That's probably all you need to know. After the close on Tuesday, we will get Starbucks. The stock made an attempt at filling that August gap of the earnings island reversal, but it held, making it more likely that this is heading higher unless they tell us something has changed. The fireworks are on Wednesday. As mentioned, 3 of the Magnificent 7 report after the close. Microsoft will take a backseat to Meta, but most of the focus will be on Tesla. Of course, the world has changed since the company last reported. We already know deliveries missed expectations, so the focus will be on margins, but really you want to know about the progress with everything else the company has coming down the road. Around the same time, we'll get results from Meta, which is pushing to new highs ahead of earnings, which are going to be about whether ad revenue has slowed and where margins are against massive CapEx spending to invest in AI. The other Magnificent 7 reporting is Apple, which reports after the close on Thursday. It was another quarter of reports of slowing sales during the quarter, which just brought down sentiment in the past, giving room for the company to beat. This time sentiment is quite low, but that's a gap lower ahead of earnings, so you've got to let them prove themselves first. Remember when Intel was a company that we cared about? Interest has crept up this time around, so now that the stock is hovering at its lows, people are getting interested again. The fundamental trends continue to go against it, though, for now. As I said last week, you can tell it's earnings season by the number of companies reporting on Friday, and this week will be quite busy. ExxonMobil tops the list. Speaking of fundamental trends going against it, earnings estimates topped in May and have gotten revised lower just about every week since. That is a headwind for the stock. AbbVie will report a little earlier. They are going to have some noise in those numbers, so the dust might need to settle some first. If you have been waiting for some volatility, well, here you go. OneWater Marine stands out because it averages a 13% move, but option traders are pricing in roughly double that. We saw something similar last week from MarineMax. It was a pretty ugly quarter for boat sales, but MarineMax surprised to the upside due to profits from its services, which might be harder for OneWater. Now, as we look out into the earnings releases over the next several weeks, most of the companies you care about are on the calendar. Amazon is going to report later than it ever has since its IPO in the 1990s, but I spy with my little eye NVIDIA in late February.